What is going on, everyone? This is Ericuts for the win. Gonna talk some more Neo, because honestly, I cannot get it off my mind. I miss this game. I miss the demos. I just really want to play this game so bad right now. I was thinking about it at work, like, man, I really wish I could go home and play Neo. That's really all I could think. So I wanted to do a couple videos. This one specifically on how it compares to Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I know there might be some people out there who are kind of sick of this comparison already, but it's really impossible not to compare Neo to those games. It's impossible. So I wanted to do a video for the Soulsborne fans out there, comparing Neo to it and what is kind of like the equivalents or similarities to those games. There are things in Neo that scream Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And although the combat is much deeper in Neo, and I want to save that for another video because it's very complex. There's a lot of layers to the combat and even the leveling up system. There's just so much going on with Neo. It deserves its own video. But for this one, I just wanted to kind of run down a very basic list of the things in Neo that definitely remind me of Bloodborne and Dark Souls. So let's start with the obvious, and that is the elixirs. Neo has elixirs for health. It helps you heal. These, of course, can be compared to the flasks in Dark Souls or the blood vials in Bloodborne. They're a little bit more like the blood vials since you can pick up extras. You do have 5 kind of in your pocket all the time, but if you do find extras, they do stack and you can use those. But once you use the extras, then you just go back to your basic 5. At least that's how it was in the demo. I had 5 always there. So in that way, it was like the flasks because you don't have to farm those. You'll always have that 5. But if you do have the extras, then it's acting like Bloodborne. So it's kind of a mix, actually. But yes, elixirs do heal you. Another thing is the Amrita, which is essentially souls. It's what you acquire every time you take out an enemy or you beat a boss, and you can use the Amrita to level up. So it's very much like the souls in the Dark Souls series. When you do lose them, if you die, you will have to go back and get them, and you only have the one chance. So it's exactly like that, same as it was in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And what's really cool about Neo is that whatever spirit animal you have, which is actually, something that gives you a little extra kick to your combat, gives you some special powers in certain ways. And every time you do die and your Amrita is out there in the world for you to get back, that spirit animal is actually guarding it. It's your guardian spirit. And it's there protecting it. So I did a little research on that and I found that out, and I just thought that was really cool. And that's what's unique about the Amrita in Neo, is that it's being protected. And of course, until you pick it up, you are without those little, perks and powers that you had with that spirit animal. So pretty cool information there. And then, of course, there's the shrine, which acts as a bonfire. This is where you can sigh in relief, like, thank you for letting me find this. Because there's times where, you're struggling, you're really trying to get through, these enemies, you're trying to find the right path and everything. And when you come up to one of these, heck yeah, it's very relieving. So yeah, this is where you can essentially save the game. You can level up, you can, just kind of take a little break and then keep going. So yeah, no checkpoints in this game. I know there's probably some people out there wondering, like, is there checkpoints or what's going on? No, this is where you save your game, and it allows you to farm and things like that. If you're in a certain area and you can only see this one shrine, that's where you're gonna, go back to every time you collect some Amrita and things like that. If you're trying to level up, you're trying to farm, you're gonna be seeing the same shrines over and over. So get used to those for sure. Also, what's kind of cool and unique about Neo is there's these little green guys that are kind of, separated around the map. And when you find them, you can direct them back to the shrine. You can guide them back. And I'm not sure the full story on these guys, but they're neat. I like finding them. I'm sure there's going to be trophies, when you find so many, or if you have to collect them all. And that's pretty neat. I like that about Neo. And then, of course, one of the most, if not the most important thing in Neo is the key. this is your stamina, and this is something that you're going to have to be very conscious about in this game. Of course, when it comes to other games that we're, comparing it to, we know how stamina works. When you run out, it's bad news. But in Neo, it's very, very bad news. You are useless when you don't have your stamina. You can't move. You can't do anything. And it really is life or death if you don't manage it very well. And so the key, very important, you can regain it, regenerate it whenever you see the blue flurries kind of appear as you're attacking. And you can do that by pressing RB. Managing this takes a little practice. Over time, your skills will get better with this. But once you get it down, it can make you, really have an edge over your enemies. And the other cool thing is that the enemies, you can see their stamina as well. You can see their stamina bar and figure out, okay, when are they tired? Because that's an opportunity for you to attack. And if they are completely out of stamina, it will show like a little cursor over them that's red. That is a cue to go ahead and use your critical attack, and that will do a damaging hit on them. Sometimes just kill them altogether, depending on the enemy. And that is something that is very useful in this game. So even though, like Dark Souls, like Bloodborne, the stamina is very important. But with Neo, it's a whole step above. There's more to manage. There's more to worry about. Think of it as, getting your health back in Bloodborne in a way. In Bloodborne, you could attack your enemies right away. Like if you got hit or something like that, and then you could just start attacking to get your health back. This is kind of like that, but it's more of having to trigger a button. You have to press a button to get it back. You have to wait for a cue, like I said, with the blue flurries. And you have to be timely with it. You have to be, pressing it at the right moment. With Bloodborne, it was more about just attacking right after you're being hit and just not getting hit again. So it's kind of similar, but very much different as well. Another thing that I was surprised to find in Neo is mimics. There's actually their own version of mimics in this game. And I never noticed them before. At least in the other two demos that I played, I did not come across a mimic. But in the latest demo, I opened a chest and this little creature popped out, and it hit me right away like, really? There's mimics in here? I got really excited. I don't know why, because I don't really like mimics, but just seeing that there, I just thought, wow, this is really cool. And it was funny because that creature that popped out actually changes into like a double of my character. It looked exactly like me, and I had to fight them. So it was pretty much like fighting myself. And I did beat them. I wish I would have recorded it, but it was a tough fight. And they actually dropped pretty good loot too. So I can't remember what I picked up, but I remember it was some good stuff. So if you find a mimic out there, don't be afraid. Go ahead and try and kill them, because they drop some good stuff. And speaking of drops and acquiring weapons and armor and things like that, there's actually its own version of blood stains in this game. They're called bloody graves. It's where another person has died. So if you've played Bloodborne, Dark Souls, you guys know what these are. But in Neo, you get to fight those people. You get to activate a fight with them. It'll tell you what level they are. It'll tell you what gear they have. And if you do beat them, you can actually get that gear. So let's say they have like a really good weapon that you don't have, you can choose to fight them. And if you do beat them, you can get that weapon. So that's really neat. That's something that I really like about Neo. I haven't really done a lot of that. Like I haven't really fought a lot of them, but I'm sure in the main game, I will be into that a little bit more, because when it comes to PvP and stuff like that, I'm not like a huge fan of it. I like having my own experience. I don't like invaders and stuff like that, but this is kind of at my own choosing. This is something I can decide to do, and if I really want something they have, then I can make that decision to fight them. So that is something I like about Neo very much. And that's pretty much like the main things that people can say, oh, that's so like Dark Souls and that's so like Bloodborne. Those are kind of the basics on my list here, just kind of on the surface kind of things. If you want to go deeper with it, we can talk about the leveling system, we can talk about things like that. But with Neo, there's just a lot more going on. There's a lot of similarities in this game when it comes to, you know, us thinking about Bloodborne and Dark Souls. But of course, there's a lot of things that are different as well. And I mentioned a few in here. I kind of expanded on the similarities, but I talked about how they were kind of different in some ways. But I also want to do a video on what's very different and just it's what makes Neo so unique and its own game. Because I know we can't be comparing forever. We're going to do it regardless. But I think in the end, Neo is going to stand out on its own and is going to show us a lot of new things, things that we did not see in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, things that are creative and different and new. I'm sure there's a lot I did not cover in this video. Like I said, I wanted to keep it basic. I wanted to keep it simple. And we'll leave all the in-depth stuff for later. Because when the full game comes out, I mean, it's going to go even deeper. We're going to be learning so much more on top of what we already know. I know I am, that's for sure. So until then, I just wanted to keep it simple and not overload on you guys too much. But yeah, if you are a fan of the Soulsborne series, you like those games, I just wanted to make this video kind of more specifically for you guys, just in case you had not tried Neo and you didn't get a chance to check it out, but you're kind of interested. Maybe this video will help you just to see like how many similarities there are to the games we already know and love. So I hope you liked it. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Peace.